am a college success advisor. But before we jump in, I do just want to thank our sponsor for today. We have Kaplan Perone Entertainment. We greatly appreciate your sponsorship and generous support today. So for this specific webinar, we're going to be focusing on how to help you feel more confident. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Veronica Estrada, who is the Chief Inspiration Officer of Big Dream Consulting. She grew up in South Central LA and has a Bachelor's of Arts and a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration and Hispanic Studies from Pepperdine University. She specializes in providing scholars, business executives, and entrepreneurs coaching to reach their evolution and also just help them transform their lives by tapping into their full potential. So please help me welcome Veronica Estrada.
Thank you so much. I am so excited to be here. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen and my presentation. Thank you for that introduction, Kim. I appreciate you. I'm so excited to be here with you all today. As Kim mentioned, I am Vero Estrada. I am now an entrepreneur. I started my life coaching business in 2019 and also am a Fulfillment Fund alumni. So I'm excited to be here with you all, and thank you for showing up, and most importantly for showing up for yourselves. Give yourselves a round of applause because you could be anywhere else and you're here with me, so I super appreciate it. But I think you're really going to take a lot out of this. So like Kim said, don't be shy, drop any questions in the Q&A and I'm happy to answer them. We'll have a good amount of time at the end to answer those questions. So since we are going to focus on building your self-confidence, if and when the chat comes up, I want you to rate your self-confidence on a scale of like 1 to 5 and drop it in the chat when it becomes available, 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest, just for fun. So we'll start with a quick background. Kim shared some of my, my current role, but I want to give you some of the peaks and the valleys of my experience so that you know why I'm an expert in building self-confidence, because success and confidence isn't just like a upward trend. It was for a long time for me, but then there was this big epic failure that happened and it totally killed my confidence. So let me get into that. All righty. So yes, I grew up in South Central in LA. We had like 10 different addresses when we lived in LA. My parents are Salvadorian immigrants. I'm the eldest of 3 kids. So I had a lot of responsibilities and a lot of expectation to really reach and fulfill the American dream for my family, like in a nutshell. I was the first person in my family to graduate from high school, go to college, get a degree, and basically I crushed it. Like I did all the things, but I had a lot on my shoulders, and I'm sure a lot of you in this group do as well. If you're Fulfillment Fund students, I know this probably resonates with you. I put catapulted in quotes because I did serve in private wealth management, which essentially means managing money for the richest people in the world. So to be my client, you had to have at least $10 million in cash, and their net worth was north of, let's say, 100 million. I had billionaire clients. So I was advising these billionaires, but it did take me like 15 years to get there, but I did make it to the top of the game. I will say that. And I also want to give a shout out to the Fulfillment Fund because I was a mentor student. I received the scholarship. Shout out to that money, free money. Hey, I took advantage of all the resources they shared with me. I literally went to all the SAT prep, every college tour, like every destination college. I had my mentor. I did all the things. So Fulfillment Fund students, you guys, this organization literally changed my life. And that's why after I graduated and I was in corporate, I served as the ambassador, the Fulfillment Fund ambassador board chair and board president. It was almost like a decade, you guys. So like after I was done with the Fulfillment Fund officially, I was like, let me give back. So that really filled my cup. And so being here now is also just another dream come true, to be totally honest with you. So thank you for being here and being part of the dream. There's 49 of you in here right now. Like, what? This is great. I literally was in your seats. So I had to share. So in 2017. Yes.
Oh, Veronica, I just want to say that a lot of our students in terms of self confidence are ranging between 3, 4s, and some 2s. So I just wanted you to know about that.
All right. 3 4s and some 2s. All right. Excellent. Good. We'll do another check-in. Remind me if I don't remember. Remind me to do another check-in at the end, because we're going to do something in this workshop that's actually going to help you build your confidence like in this moment. So I'm excited about that. So in 2017, I was flying high, doing all the things, making 6 figures, driving a Range Rover, living in LA, wearing business suits. I was a full-on business woman, and I got fired from my job. And at that point, it was like one of the lowest moments of my life. Before I got fired, I would have ranked my confidence on a scale of 1 to 5. It was a 10. I was like cocky. I thought I was like the shit, basically. But, and that came from achieving a lot of things, because I had been consistently setting and achieving all of my goals. Like I said, I started when I was your age. I was attending all the career expos, all the college events. And with my mentor and the Fulfillment Funds guidance, I was then like off to the races and achieving all these external markers of success for a long time. And I didn't stop until everything I had worked so hard for was suddenly taken away from me. When I lost my job, I would have ranked my self-confidence at like a -10. It was not cute. And it was dark. But now, as you can see here, my confidence is pretty consistently high, like, because it is an inside job. And that's what I've mastered. And over the last 5 years or more, I've been working on not only building my confidence, but helping other people build their confidence as well. So what is self-confidence? A feeling of trust in one's abilities, qualities, and judgment. That's the official definition. But I think in terms of actionable stuff and what I've learned, it's really having your own back no matter what happens. It's knowing when to ask for help and how to ask for help. And it's also, like I said, an inside job. So I will let you know how to ask for help in a confident way, so that you remember. I know the theme is to stand together and stand out for this conference. So we cannot succeed alone. And it's important that we tap into the resources that we have available in a way that gives you more confidence and basically makes other people want to help you. So I'll give you tips exactly on how to do that in this presentation as well. So sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. 1 second. So the most important thing I would say out of all of these is that it's an inside job. It's your personal duty to cultivate your self-confidence and keep growing it over the course of your life. You cannot outsource confidence, you guys. I mean, you can, like I did. And it was not fun, and it was not a happy way to live. And I outsourced it by achieving things and then getting somebody to say, wow, you're so smart. You're so great. Look at you. You did that. Wow. You did all that work. And I was consistently just seeking this external validation from everyone outside of myself, like even my parents. I wanted to make them proud. I wanted to get that like pat on the back, like, oh, now you're worthy, right? And that's not sustainable, I will tell you. And I don't want you guys to make the same mistake that I did. So that's why I'm very vulnerably sharing this. And it's super uncomfortable, but I have to tell you, otherwise, like, you're going to fall into the same trap that I did. And I'm saving you like 5 or 6 years of work on yourself by sharing all these special gems with you today. So I want you to remember to not seek validation from others, because it puts you on a hamster wheel and you're constantly chasing something that you actually don't need to chase, because you can have it within yourself. So no matter what happens, like, you've got the thing, you've already secured the bag, right? So that is that. I'm going to pause for a sec, see if there's any questions or anything in the meantime.
Yeah, we have a comment that states that they love that definition of confidence. So thank you so much. But there is one question that we have. So a student had asked, what does outsourcing confidence mean?
So I just briefly covered that, but outsourcing your confidence is when you feel good about yourself because you did something and somebody else is telling you, oh, you're great. You're going to totally, you're awesome. You're amazing. Somebody else is giving it to you. It's coming from external places. So like when you outsource a job, you outsource some part of like a business, let's say, you're getting the thing from another place. You're not making it yourself. You know, there's a way that you can create something in-house. So creating something in-house is like, I'm making this thing here. Like I brought the materials, I'm making this thing. Like I know I have this and this and this, but if I outsource this, somebody else is actually making it and then they're delivering this to me. So what we want to do is build our confidence in-house instead of outsourcing it. Does that help?
Yes. Yeah. No, that
on
totally
the
makes sense. Thank
fly.
you.
Yeah, I didn't know what outsourcing was for the longest time also. Like I totally forgot about that. But thanks for the question. I hope that helps others also. So I want to share the tale of two wolves. Actually, is this in presentation mode? Yes. Okay. Is it? Okay.
Yes.
All right, sweet. So I want to share the tale of two wolves. An elderly Cherokee brave told his grandson about a battle that goes on within us all. And this battle is between two wolves. One is evil, anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, guilt. You see the list here. Superiority and ego. So sort of like the darkness, the shadow side, right? And the other wolf is good. It's joy, peace, love, benevolence, humility, compassion, faith, generosity, truth, all the light sort of qualities, right? And so the grandson thought about it and he asked his grandfather, well, which wolf wins? And he said, the one that you feed. And I love this tale because it illustrates what I mean when I say it's an inside job. You have the power to choose what you think about yourself and the ability to refocus your mind on the good inside of you, no matter what. There will always be external circumstances that rock us and knock us down. But if you remember and you keep feeding like the good wolf and remember the good inside of you and you remember like your strengths, it's going to keep grounding you in your abilities. And so you'll remember your ability to overcome challenges, to overcome hardship and all sorts of obstacles that are going to get in your way. Because like FYIs, on the road to success, you will fail, you will fall, you will make mistakes. But it's how quickly you bounce back and how you bounce back that will ensure you achieve success in the long run. And I've been around a lot of very, very, very successful people in a lot of different ways. And I'll tell you, like, they've all had failures. When I got fired, I didn't even want to say it out loud. And then I started like telling people I trusted and they're like, oh yeah, I got fired too. Yeah, I was fired from this other job. Oh yeah, I was fired from this other thing. And then my mentor actually got fired. Like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. Like, let me just tell you right now, so you're not in this shame spiral that I was in. So remember the tale of the two wolves, right? You can feed the good wolf or you can feed the evil one, right? So one is confidence and all that's good. And the other one is going to be like self-doubt and pity and focusing on what's not working, on your weaknesses, right? So this is important. And it's an easy way to remember, like when those disempowering thoughts come in or somebody says something, right? That's another thing of outsourcing confidence. If somebody criticizes you or tells you something that you're not doing well, or they're like looking down on a decision that you're making, but you feel good about it, like that's another way to outsource like a lack of self-confidence. Like don't let other people knock you down, right? Even important people in your life. Because I want you to remember, like, to trust in your abilities, have faith in your choices, and know that whatever happens, you can bounce back. Like, even if you do make a mistake and they were right, like, it's fine because you're going to figure it out anyway. So let's move on. So we're going to jump into our first activity. I'm going to give you all 3 minutes to write a list of 5 accomplishments. They could be recent. They could be actually not that recent. Also, if you're kind of struggling to think of 5. So I want you to write down 5 things that you've accomplished. And then I want you to think of the quality or character trait, AKA your strengths, that helped you accomplish each goal. Now let's move on. Let's see. Oh, I love this one. All right. Next, I want you guys to, y'all, I'm going to just say y'all, because now I know this. Anyway, let me get into it. I want y'all to write down this text. I want you to text 2 to 5 of your closest friends, mentors, or family members who are supportive and love you and constantly are there for you. And I want you to text them this. I'm doing a self-confidence workshop with my life coach at the Fulfillment Fund Career Expo, and she asked us to reach out to our people and ask what qualities and strengths do you love about me? What makes me shine? Thank you so much for your help. I appreciate your feedback. And you can tailor this to make it sound more like you, but this is actually, it's going to sound it's going to sound contradictory, but this is also a way you can't outsource confidence, because borrowing the lens that somebody else has of us can really help us see qualities that to us are like, that's just how I am, but somebody else sees it as like an actual strength. Confidence comes from courageously stepping outside of your comfort zone over and over again. Through the chat, I see that a lot of you have been applying for internships, applying for jobs, getting leadership positions. Like, it sounds like you're all getting out of your comfort zone over and over again. So brava, you're already doing it. But I want you to remember that that's a key component of having confidence. The people who have the highest confidence have tried and failed many, many times, and then also tried and succeeded also many, many times. Like, that's what life is all about, like continuously pushing the bounds of your comfort zone. And like, the more you do, the more like your comfort zone will continue to expand, or you'll always be getting to new levels, essentially, is what I'm saying. So always stay trying and keep putting yourself in the arena, right? And another key thing is noticing what worked. So like we just looked at the successes and then we wrote down like what got me here. And then also noticing what didn't work, right? So noticing your areas of improvement or weaknesses, that is important. I saw somebody asked about that in the chat, like seeing what we need to improve on, right? That is super important, knowing where you fall short and knowing where you get in your own way. It is important to have awareness around that and to know what that is so that you can address it. And that's another key thing that you can do in terms of asking for support, asking for help, or asking for constructive feedback, or just asking for feedback. Let's just call it feedback, right? Because it could be really great, or it could be areas of improvement, right? So in terms of your areas of improvement, there's something I want to share. Something that has helped me a lot is, I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard it out there on the gram. And it was basically, know what your weaknesses are, know what your areas for improvement are, but don't focus on just fixing those. Like if you really suck at something, don't try to go ahead and make that like your career. Okay, like I don't even know. I don't really want to share this, but I'm going to share this. All right. Math was not my favorite thing. Okay. I still was a banker. I was still very successful. But there were parts about the job that I was not that great at. Okay. Excel sheets, not my friends. Okay. I was never a teller like at a bank because I didn't want to do that. But secondly, because I couldn't count money like that fast. I couldn't do numbers that fast. Like that was just not my thing. Okay. Let me just tell you. But what I did focus on was the relationship building, the parts that I was actually naturally good at. Like I could talk to people, I could build conversations, I could build rapport. So when I needed like help with Excel at my jobs, like I would just ask somebody else to come through and be like, hey, I've been working on this for a minute, blah, blah, blah. I'm not really sure. How would you do it? And then somebody would indubitably help me with the Excel part of my job that I hated and that I was not that good at, you know? So I want you to know what your areas of improvement are, but don't like spend your whole life trying to become better at math or counting the, whatever your weakness is, like don't spend so much time on it. What I do want you to spend time on is doubling down on your strengths. What already comes pretty easily for you that maybe doesn't come easily for others? And how can you enhance that part of yourself? Because that's what's going to take you way further. That's what's going to help you like reach new heights. Because again, if you focus on what you're already naturally adept at, what you're already kind of naturally good at, like if you're really good at technical stuff and behind the scenes and Excel, if that's your jam, but you don't love talking to people, like how can you double down on that part of you? And like, yeah, learn how to be social and carry a conversation, but don't try to force yourself to become an extrovert and be in sales and like do all this stuff that's like, it doesn't really suit you. You know what I mean? So that's an important thing that has helped me a lot in my career, in my life, just really focusing on like, all right, there's areas where I could be better doing things, tweaking things to make myself better there, but I'm not going to like drop everything to go and do that thing. I hope that makes sense. So another thing that's important is when you ask for help, when you ask for feedback, do not complain. And this is a rule I actually have for my life coaching clients, like do not complain. Notice when you're complaining and catch it and change it. Ask a question, like, how can I resolve this thing? If I don't like this situation, if I don't like whatever I'm doing, how can I shift it? Can I make it better? Can I not? Is it something that like is out of my control and I just have to do the thing? Like, anyway, the point is do not complain when you're asking for help. Do your best to explore other ways of doing things. And whoever you're asking for help, let them know what you have done. This is the research I did. I tried this or that formula, or I did X, Y, and Z, and that hasn't worked. And then be very specific about how you ask them to support you. I really would love your help or your perspective, your insights on how to do this, this, and this. And then stop talking. And then don't get defensive. So that's that part. And then let me continue looking at the presentation, right? So taking consistent, messy forward action. You guys are still, you're still, very young. So don't fall into this like perfectionism trap. Because honestly, done is better than perfect. And keep focusing on progress over perfection. Because again, that's what's going to help you push out of your comfort zone. And be gentle and kind to yourself in your mind. Notice that inner critic or the bad wolf, the evil wolf, when they're getting louder. Don't feed it anything else. Don't keep giving it more evidence of how you're not that great, right? Feed the courage wolf, feed the good wolf. Look at your post-it note. Look how strong you are. Look how much you've learned. Like, look everything you've accomplished, right? And then remember to ask for help early and often. Asking for help sometimes doesn't come easily for us, but the more we do it, the earlier we do it also, the more people will get used to us asking for help. And the earlier you do it, then it's not like a fire drill. And if people say no, then it's okay. You can find another way, right? So just start getting used to asking for help early and often, and then use those tips I just shared about not complaining, being strategic, sharing what you've tried, and being open and receptive. So this is the last slide of my actual presentation. So I just want to remind you that you're not alone. You have people in your corner who are rooting for you, who believe in you, and who want to help and support you. And in order to stand out individually, you must also stand together with your community of supporters. Ask them for help and also lend your support by sharing your gifts with others. Don't hoard your gifts because the world needs the magic that only you have. So there, that's my part.
Wonderful. Love it. Love it. Well, honestly, it's been so great just hearing all of this. A lot of the students are already asking, how can I watch this again? Like, I love what you're talking about. I do just want to leave for a couple minutes for questions because I know some students have had it. So one of the general questions is like, how do we earn respect in a workforce using self-confidence without seeming cocky, right? I think some people get confused of like overly confident, but having that self-confidence without being too cocky. How would you establish that, and how do you find that balance?
Repeat the first part of the question. How do we?
Yeah. How do we establish respect in a workforce using self-confidence without seeming cocky?
It's important to remember, because you're all in college right now. So whenever you do go into a workplace, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Remember, like, there's a political scheme at play when you go into a nonprofit, when you go into anywhere. And if you're coming in as an intern or you're brand new, that means you're in an entry level position, right? So in the totem pole of the whole company, let me just tell you, you're starting at the bottom. So remember that. And I think that's gonna humble you real quick. Like, yeah, you got a job at the sickest company, you're making a lot of money, but there's a lot of people above you and there's a lot that you don't know. So remember that. Like, go into it knowing that there's so much you don't know. And I say this with so much love and respect, but I wish somebody would have told me, because I thought I was like hot shit when I went places, and it was like, oh my God, people were like, don't say that. You shouldn't have said that. And so just remember, you're starting out, your disposition, the way your energy, your confidence is going to come from, actually a lot of it's going to come from your body language, to be honest. Like over 80% of our communication is body language. So the way that you can establish confidence in the workplace and get respect without seeming cocky is by sitting and standing with really good posture, smiling a lot, actually, and asking curious questions. Also, if you can Google it, do that first. If you can't find the answer, then I think it's a good time to ask, and or even prefacing, I understand I'm, a junior person here, or I just joined. So almost like letting them know, like, hey, I know I don't know everything, but this is what I'm thinking. Did you guys think of it in this way? And that's a great way of adding value, showing that you care and showing that you want to be better. So I think that's actually a really great way of getting respect and building confidence in a role by, number one, know that you don't know everything. Number two, also know that through your questions, you might be highlighting something that they haven't thought of yet, or you might be highlighting something that is a potential solution, right? So those are two really great ways of doing it. And I think, again, remember your body language, like take up space, and like the cocky person is going to be like this guy, right? Like taking up too much space. And then the one that's like not confident is going to be like playing real small and quiet. And I don't even want to say anything. No, stand in the middle, right? Like kind of like me, like take up a little bit of space, feet firmly planted on the ground, and smile even when you don't know. And if you don't know, say, I don't know. That's a great question. Let me find out. Right? I think humility is important. Your vibe is important, and your posture. I actually have a YouTube, what's it called? Show where I talk about this, interview tips that helps with all of that stuff. If you're interested, send me a DM on Instagram or send me an email and I can send you the link to that video. What do you think, Kim? Anything else you have to add in terms of that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think you put everything into perspective. I think asking questions, like I think we tend to be a little bit hesitant about taking up space, but I think that's such an important thing to do that. Because you're amazing, you're awesome, and you want to show people that, right? And you want to walk into a room like and having that confidence, and it just takes practice and it takes time. So go in there and just show yourself, right? And don't be shy with that.
Yeah. And you belong there. Like the fact that you're there
Exactly.
already means you belong there, right? So don't let my whole thing of like you're new there, you're lowest on the totem pole, whatever, don't let that bring you down.
Mhm.
I'm just saying that as a homie, like, hey, remember that. But when you walk into the room, you also want to act like I belong here. Hey man, I got this job. Like I'm the best person for it. Y'all interviewed 20 other people and here I am. I'm awesome. Right. So it's like a
Mhm.
fine line. And that's why I get like the cockiness. And sometimes honestly, you will overstep. Sometimes you will come off cocky. Sometimes you will um step on someone's toes. I have done it. Oh my God. If I have time, I would tell you the stories, man. I messed up, but you bounce back. You smile through it. You're like, I'm so sorry. I'm still learning the ropes. That's a good way to also like buy yourself out of a bind.
For
um,
sure.
but yeah, I think that's the vibe. So know that you belong, know that you're worthy, take up space, like let your body language speak for itself and ask questions and show that you're curious and that you want to be better and that you want to learn. And I think that's going to beget a lot of respect, while also building your confidence.
Wonderful. Well, I think with the time and everything that you said was a perfect ending. I mean, I personally feel a little bit more confident just going through this experience, and I have so much to take away, and hopefully you all do as well. In terms of the scholarship and participation, we just want to thank you so much. I know we had a little bit of some tech issues, but again, thank you for working with us through the Q&A. Students who won the scholarship, you'll hear from us after the event. And just a heads up, when you end the session, there will be a short survey. So it only takes a couple minutes. And of course, you'll always potentially can receive a gift card. But Veronica, thank you so much for your time, your wise wisdom, your experience, just being vulnerable with us. Like we greatly appreciate it, and our students as well. But thank you again, and thank you, students. And I will see you in our next session.